it's Megan here. I am here with a series of videos, the first of many, where I show off what games are in my game collection. A little bit more about me as a collector. I have been collecting my games since I was a kid, but I only started taking collecting a little bit more seriously within the last couple of years. So today, I thought we would focus on the NES collection, and I'm really excited because this is the first console that I ever played. I don't have a lot of memories of playing games on it, but I do remember playing the Super Mario Bros. Game, and I remember playing a lot of Duck Hunt. Anyway, a little bit more about my NES collection. I currently have 41 games, and I have two consoles. I have the front loader and the top loader. I will show both today. The front loader is a little more recent. My Twitch community funded it for me, which I'm really grateful for. So let's start off with the consoles. Here is the little top loader NES. This is not what I think of when I think of the NES. I think of the front loader, right? But look at it, it's so cute! And here it is. This is my front loader NES. Look at how big and bulky it is compared to the other one. Look at how cute it is. All right, so I have two types of controllers to show. I also have the gun for Duck Hunt, but I don't know where it is quite at this time, so I'll have to look for it. But here is the NES controller. This is the one that I think of all the time when I think of like old video game controllers. I love this controller so much. This is the controller that I feel is essential to like my NES experience, just because I'm so nostalgic for this controller. The next controller, which I actually didn't know that this controller existed until I got that top loader NES. I was like, what the heck? I think it's called Dog Bone controller. It's, I think, very cool to see this because I think that you can see a lot of like where the Super Nintendo controller got its design from. You have the buttons are now diagonal on this. And, like, obviously it's not a rectangle, right? I think it's so cool. All right, so I'm ready to go through the games. So a little bit about how I've organized the games. They're just in alphabetical order. Nothing special or anything like that at all. I got some of the games here in front of me. You can see they're gone from the shelf. And let's start going through them. All right, so I'm very excited to start going through the games here. I have the first of many piles in front of me. I will say that I haven't played a lot of these games yet. I'm excited to. The NES is a console that I grew up with, but I didn't get to play it too much. As I had said, my experiences are mostly the Mario games and Duck Hunt. So I'm excited. It means I have a lot of games to catch up on, and I'm excited to show you what's in the collection. So this is Bases Loaded 2, second season. This is Base Wars Cyber Stadium series. So I was a huge fan of this movie series in the 90s. I'm wondering if this is based off of like the first one or something, because it does look like the cover of it. Batman, the video game. I'm very curious if this follows the plot of those original movies, because I really like those movies. All right, this is one that I've learned about more recently, and I haven't gotten to play it myself, but the reason that it's in the collection is because it looks a little bit like Zelda 2, and it's the Battle of Olympus. I've heard of this one. It's Blaster Master. This is like, I feel, a very iconic game series. This next game in the collection, this is one that I have played quite a bit. I've played a lot of multiplayer in it. I'm not very good at it. It's Bubble Bobble on the NES. So the next series of games, this is a series that I really want to try out. I don't know if the NES ones are going to be the first ones that I try. And that is Castlevania. We have Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. I feel like I've heard that this one is a very interesting one. And, ooh, this one is sleeved. This one is Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. I haven't played any Castlevania games. I've heard that these ones are a little less Metroidvania-esque. I think my first Castlevania game I do want to try is the one on Super Nintendo. I'm not exactly sure yet. All right, this next one is one that was actually chosen for me by my community. I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, but it looks really good. It reminded me a little bit of Zelda, but I'm excited to see it. Crystalis. This next one is one that I play with my mom a lot. I have a lot of really good memories of playing it, and that's Dr. Mario. I actually played this a little recently. I'm so bad at it. Like, I am so bad at Dr. Mario. The music in this game is something that's really nostalgic for me, and it's something that makes me really happy. The next game is one that I actually really want to play. As a fan of RPGs, I think that this is probably one of the most iconic games. This is actually a really epic art. I don't know if I've ever actually looked at the card. It's so cool. We have Dragon Warrior. The next game in the collection, this one I hear a lot about, and I've also just learned that this is like a series of games that I actually had no idea about this. And it's Faxanadu. I don't really know much about this other than a lot of people had recommended it, and I'm really excited to try it out someday. The next game in the collection is actually what I'm currently streaming over on my channel. I have been streaming it on and off for about a year. I'm very determined to finish it, and it is Final Fantasy. My team is composed of a fighter, a thief, a white mage, and a black mage right now, and I am still in the first half of the game. I'm excited to try to finish it someday. It's so cool seeing where the series started, like comparing what this looks like compared to where the series went with Final Fantasy 16 is so cool. All right, the next game. It's the Goonies 2. I don't know anything about the Goonies. I don't know anything about this game. This one we picked up at a game convention last year, and this is one that I haven't seen any footage of, and it's called The Guardian Legend. This next game is actually like, it's an IP that I wish Nintendo paid a little bit more love to. We haven't had a game in this series since the 3DS, I believe, other than we have seen some characters appear in Smash Bros. And it's Kid Icarus. There are 3 Kid Icarus games. I do not have the one on Game Boy. I should get it. I love Kirby's Adventure! The next game in the collection, I've heard a lot about this one. I need to play this one myself someday, is Kung Fu. Very, very cool. When I was a kid, there was this Disney movie that I was just like absolutely obsessed with. The Little Mermaid. I haven't played this yet, but I really want to. I love the old retro like Disney games on the Super Nintendo especially, but I actually haven't played any of them on the NES, so I'm looking forward to seeing if this is just as hard as the ones on Super Nintendo. The next 2 games in my collection are actually part of a series I have not played very much. My experience has been that I played a collector's edition on the GameCube, and it was too hard. I couldn't even complete a single level. I have Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3. I feel like going through these games, I'm finding a lot of games that I wished that I had played, or a lot of series that I want to try. That takes me to the next one. I actually forget that this version of the game exists. I always think that the earliest one is the PS1 game, which is not true, but it's Metal Gear! I want to play Metal Gear someday. I think that it would be very, very, very fun to try. Continuing the pattern and trend of retro games that are in a series that I wish I had played and I haven't is the very first Metroid game. I really want to try Metroid someday. I think I might try to start with Super Metroid because I just got that in the collection as well. This game I have played. I played it quite extensively actually, and I got stuck. But I am excited to one day get back to it because I want to be the champion of Punch-Out! It was really fun trying to like figure out the strategies. I got stuck on Bald Bull. I'm excited to give it another shot. All right, the next game is, I've heard that this is like one of the hardest games ever. What do you all think? I don't know because I haven't played it. We have Ninja Gaiden. I've heard that this is like one of the most difficult platformers on the NES. I don't actually know if this is true, but I have heard a lot about this series and this game specifically. I want to know your thoughts on it. I should give it a try someday. So this next game I just got in the collection actually within the last few months. I had no idea that this version of the game existed. I played a lot of the ones on Nintendo 64. And it makes a lot of sense to me that there's an NES version because I think the Nintendo 64 version functions a lot like an arcade game where you get like extra chances and stuff. And that's Rampage. I just got this recently at a retro game convention that I went to. The next game in the collection is Rygar. All right, so this next game was a recommendation from a couple of friends. I looked it up. I watched some gameplay on YouTube. It reminded me a lot of like Earthbound aesthetics. I don't know if that was the intention or anything, but I immediately I wanted to get it, and that's Star Tropics. I haven't played it yet, but I'm really excited to someday. I have 2 copies of this. One of them came with my NES. One of them was in the collection, and it's Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt. I feel like in terms of iconic games on this console, this is it right here. I've never finished Super Mario Bros. 1, and into that I've never finished Super Mario Bros. 2. This game is really hard. I had a really, really difficult time. I hated those keys like that you had to pick up, and then the like masks would chase you. Those horrified me. The next one, this one's sleeved. I think if I wanted a CIV game on the NES, it would probably be Super Mario Bros. 3, because this is probably like one of the most iconic games on this console for me. All right, the next game in the collection is a sports game. It's Tecmo Super Bowl. The next game here is a very cool, iconic series, and it's a cartoon series I watched a lot as a kid. I watched some of the movies. I only played one of the games, though. I want to play more of them, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. I only played the Super Nintendo game from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. I'm very curious what that one's like. Next game here, it needs no introduction. I think everyone knows what this game is. It's Tetris. I played a lot of this when I was a kid, but I think mostly the Game Boy version. I was really bad at Tetris. The next game here, this one has a very damaged label, but you know, it's okay. Some of our games don't make it. And that's Wheel of Fortune. All right, we have 4 games left in the collection. This next one I actually just got recently. I saw it at the game convention that I had gone to a month ago. And I was like, oh, I should get that because I've always wanted to play it. And it's Yoshi. I played a little bit of it. I'm not good at games like this, honestly, but I had a lot of fun. The next game is one that I actually only learned existed recently. I haven't played the first of this, so I was really surprised to learn that this existed. And I think the reason I didn't realize that this existed is because the name is a little different. This one is Star Tropics 2, Zoda's Revenge. The last two games in my series are actually not in the right place alphabetically, and the reason that they're separate is because this is my favorite game series of all time, and I wanted to keep these two cards separate from the rest of the collection. And that is Zelda 1. I have the gold cart. We have it sleeved and everything. Look at how beautiful it is! And last but not least, Zelda 2, which is another Zelda game I haven't played. I really want to someday, but here it is. Look at how golden shiny it is. And that is all 41 of my NES games. What do you think? What are your favorites from my collection that you have played? What are some games that you would want to try? And what is a game that you recommend that I add to my NES collection? I'm up for any genres. I really like trying out older games, even if it's not something that I would usually play, just to see where the genre or series has come from. I think it's really, really cool. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I would love to know what console you would like to see a collection tour of next. I'm thinking either Super Nintendo or Switch, but I'm not sure. So let me know down in the comments below what you think, and I hope I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye!